Blind man wet. Blind man wet.
Hear the sound of the bells when the Lord gone. And them boys unleash hell when the war's on. Bloodthirsty when the dogs put their paws on. You gon' tell them that they go a little bit of blows on. Put them on the battlefield where they dead. And ignorant niggas just tryna miss what I said, Your man's a bitch, you put a purse on him. Get them wild niggas throwing red dots on them. I'm the general, I can be worth something. My soldiers is ready to put a black house on them. Bring them to the wake, break them with a requiem and throw them in the pit and throw a little bit of dirt on them. Dirt on them, throw a little dirt on them. Trigger fingers in the air, put a little work on them. Work on them, put a little work on them. Trigger finger in the air, put a little dirt on them. Put a little dirt on them. Put a little dirt on them.
Blind.
Ayo! I think the microphone is working.
Saw dudes.
I saw, dudes. Oh, actually not bad. So, a little hybrid tonight. Doing a little 2K. Maybe a little fantasy talk to start that.
That's the best.
I think we promised to do 2K PGA at one point, but it's Kobe time. And of course, Dan does not get the Kobe edition. Got the Lillard edition, but it'll suffice.
It's not
It'll
even
suffice.
a real one.
But we'll start off with a little fantasy talk. Week 2 action. Let's pull this up. I don't know why I'm on Germ Dog's matchup. Let's get the fuck out of here first.
Doing research on Germ
I don't know why I was on Jeremy's team. So, week 1's in the books. Was it last week that we went over the power rankings or 2 weeks ago?
I think we went over it 2 weeks ago. Unless we didn't do Dream Team. Oh yeah, it was your birthday last year.
Oh, yeah. So, I was going to do power rankings, but it's too fucking hard after 1 week. To try to take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's so fucking hard. Maybe like a third of the way through the season, we can rank them. Maybe we could do it live. Do a power ranking session live.
Is
Talk
that
it
what
out.
we're doing now?
I want to go through the matchups and get your thoughts on it. So these are the standings. So AC Weezy up top. I'm second. Dan's third. Mike. Oh, down at the goddamn bottom. I don't know what happened that week. But let's take a look at the matchups. We can save Mike's for last. So Jeremy and Dan.
This was interesting because his 2 running backs, did they both play on Monday?
Yes.
Yeah, they played against each other.
They played against each other.
So
yeah.
Dan had like 40 points going into Monday, and Jeremy had his kicker, his defense, and Jerry Judy going into Monday. And Dan hardly scored any points at all, and Jeremy was scoring them left and right, and Dan was shitting his pants. It was very intriguing.
He was up by how much was he up? Well, no, we can calculate it quick. So 17.
I'm pretty sure he had 100
23.
points going into.
And how much did he win by? He won by like 8.
Did he have 100 points going into Monday and then only ended up?
Dan,
with
yeah,
111?
Dan, yeah. He literally because he only got 8 here. He had 103.
Did he have anyone else playing on Monday?
No, it was just these two. And he was at 103, and he was projected like 140, and he ended up only getting 111. It would have been so goddamn classic if me and Dan played.
Yeah,
And if that was the case, I would have thought I'd be crushed, absolutely crushed, and I would have ended up beating him if me and him had played. It would have been especially devastating because my tight end got touchdowns like
right
1 in the morning.
Yeah. That was pretty.
So
awesome.
looking at, Dan Dan right now thinks he's like the best in the league. Yahoo has him projected to go 12-1. I don't know where that's coming from.
Well, he thought that way on Sunday night, and then Monday morning the shit thought God smited.
Exactly, but now he's coming. It's like a bell curve. He went down, and now he's coming back up, and he's reaching the peak again. I hope, depending on if he has guys playing tomorrow, I forecast him dropping back down. But Aaron Rodgers, 30 points. I don't see that happening all the time on a weekly basis. I mean, like, I don't know what.
More into that game later because it affected me deeply.
I don't know what happened with Minnesota defense. Like, they're like a top 5 defense, and they let up 43 points week 1. Maybe they just have to knock the rust off, but
I guess it's because it's week 1, no preseason. They just went wild. But
Calvin Ridley, 24 points, pretty absurd. How many catches did he have? If it was PPR, you would know. That's a lot of targets and catches. I thought he only had like 4 or 5 catches.
Matt Ryan threw 54 times that game.
Calvin Ridley could be. How did Hayden? Well, I guess we'll look into it, but that offense is super high powered.
He's slinging it to Julio and Calvin Ridley.
I don't think it does any favors for this bull right here, Mr. Gurley, but
he got his.
Ridley and Jones are gonna eat. Probably Hayden Hurst too. Jarvis Landry's trash.
That was a forced start because Galladay was hurt.
His running backs are. I think Saquon will be fine, but James Conner, he didn't practice.
They're about ready to move on from him if he keeps it up.
And Benny Snell came in and didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
100 yards rushing.
Benny Snell's been wet for a long time.
Yeah.
Higbee,
I don't have any love for him, to be honest. Rasheem Mozart, he's pretty fucking wet.
That was a good pick, and I think it was in the 5th round.
When he took him, or after the draft was over, that was my highlight for him. That was a very, very good pick. He grabbed him in the 5th. Yeah, I had my eye on him, but
I probably would have got him, but I didn't pick again until the end of the 5th round. So.
Greg the Leg didn't really do him justice, but New England D. Yeah.
Against the Dolphins. That's good for just the defense, though.
Naheem Hines. I shit all over Dan's chest for drafting him. And I will admit that I was slightly wrong. I do think Marlon Mack
are heading back to
tearing his Achilles had something to do with it, but
he really didn't do that much to get that many points.
I mean, he had 2 touchdowns. His yardage. He had 28 yards rushing and 45 receiving.
He's not going to be starting over Jonathan Taylor.
He's a receiving back, so he's going to get touches, but I don't think you can consistently start him. Anthony Miller.
Can never trust them.
Yeah, I don't really love him. People have hyped him for a while now. I mean, he did Dan justice. How many catches did he have? 4 catches.
It was the touchdown that made it.
Yeah. I don't even know why he ever picked up Josh Gordon, but
he
dropped him today, which was a smart move. He does have Galladay on the bench, which is a bit of a...
Dan's in the chat, 12-1, baby. Shut the fuck up,
Shut up, Dan. Now let's look at Jeremy's squad, who I predicted would not have a single win all season long. Let's keep that in mind. His team absolutely fucking sucks. If he didn't have Josh Jacobs, he would score like... I mean, if Josh Jacobs has a reasonable 10 points, I mean, he's scoring 73 points. Yeah. His team is wildly suspect.
Jared Goff, he needs to move on. I'm surprised he didn't.
I tried to trade him, Danny. I'll reveal a little confidential discussions. I tried to see if he had any interest in Danny Dimes. He shit on my chest and said Goff was wet, and I was like, that's just not true. And
I think Dimes is better than Goff, but I would not trade for Dimes.
I mean, I wasn't asking for anything. I wanted to get rid of Dimes because I wanted Cam Newton. I can now say this as well because Dan just picked Cam Newton up. So I would have taken anything for him. At the time, I was asking for Slayton, who he went off, and reasonably so. He said no to that. I would have been interested in Deontay Johnson too, but he had no interest. And Goff ended up getting him 11 points.
I just don't understand why people with a quarterback like that wouldn't have picked up Cam Newton.
Yeah,
I took Russell in the 5th, so I had no need for the quarterback.
I invested a lot of draft capital in Danny Dimes, so I feel obligated to hold him. But when I woke up this morning, my hand was quivering over the add button. I thought for sure someone was going to claim him. For sure. But T.Y. Hilton, unremarkable. Judy doesn't even deserve to be started. Josh Jacobs is very, very wet. Todd Gurley is suspect.
Say it looked like a reach when he took him in the first, but
He is pretty out of line.
I would have liked if he fell to me. That's who I was gonna take. So, congrats, I guess.
And Jonathan Taylor would probably be pretty absurd for him.
That was a good turnaround for the dog.
Yeah, I mean, he got some much needed life support with that because they're going to feed this motherfucker, and he is so wet, or at least was wet in college. Outside of that, I don't really like anyone on his team.
It was, even though it ended up being closer, it was a true bloodbath on Jeremy. I won't give Dan too much credit, but it was a bloodbath.
Yeah, it was. All right, moving on. Next matchup. I mean, I hate to say I told her so, but I fucking told her so. Tyler's team is...
I was looking at it. It's just filled with bad decisions from Tyler this week.
It's just...
he can't control the Mike Thomas. He scored 1.7 points. The first receiver taken in the draft. Just fucking absurd. He should be scoring. You take him to expect he scores at least 10 to 15 points.
Is Michael Thomas
week.
really... I mean, as someone who drafted Michael Thomas last year and loved him, I would not fucking touch him in the first round. I would have never came anywhere close to taking him. And I fucking loved him, and he was outrageous for me last year. And I had no idea that he was going to get injured. I probably expected him to do the same shit he did last year, but... I mean, you're getting a little bit of what you bought with this, where, I mean... This happens with receivers.
Don't trust the Saints.
Yeah, and
even when he didn't get hurt till near the end of the game. He played the near whole game.
I mean, like he fucked up by taking Michael Thomas over Clyde, in my opinion. Clyde's absurd.
Clyde didn't go. He didn't go until the 9th.
I don't know. And who did Steph take?
Or 8th or 7th, I think.
No, well, Nate took him at 9.
Okay.
Wasn't Steph 8? Or was Steph 10?
No, she was after that. She took Mix.
Oh, Jeremy was 8. He took Josh Jacobs. So
debatable.
Yeah.
He did outperform him, but I'm not sure. I still think Clyde will be more consistent through the... Yeah. Maybe not. He's a rookie.
Stephon Diggs, I don't like at all. And this is coming from someone who has...
He did way better than I expected.
I mean, I just don't like him.
I did not trust him on the Bills at all, but 9 targets, 8 receptions. They're getting him the ball. He got bailed out from trading Cooper Kupp, for sure.
I mean, Monty, I drafted him last year. I think has talent. Tyler is going to be stuck in that whirlwind of Matt Nagy, terrible play calling, and it is a terrible place to be.
Can I just bring some stuff up about Tyler's team, just the stat lines? First of all, he dropped his kicker that he drafted. Who is it? I think Prater, the Lions kicker. Or Bailey. Maybe it was... No, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Prater. No, Dave's got
I can quick take a look.
Who's Austin got as his kicker?
Well, he dropped Jake... No.
Well, he did that this week.
Oh, are you talking about...
Yeah, I'm saying before this matchup.
Oh, I know he dropped... So he dropped Gostkowski and picked up Joey Sly.
He did that now, so...
Okay. So who did he originally draft?
Yeah, go to Austin's team just for a quick moment. Who's his kicker?
Matt Prater.
Yeah, so Tyler drops Matt Prater.
Yeah, so Tyler drafted him last round, dropped, and then...
Picked up a guy. So he's overthinking on that point. He makes... Go back to the matchup. Alright, so he has Michael Gallup in the flex. Shouldn't even be starting. Almost shouldn't even be rostered.
He should be rostered. He should not be starting. Yeah. He should not be starting. The only one
I guess you would have him in case either CeeDee Lamb or what's his name.
I mean, you should CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, Jarwin, who tore his fucking ACL, he's done. But when he was fine, their tight end, no one should be starting any of those three because no one knows what's happening with them.
Mm-hmm. Which it brings me
terrible
to the point,
start.
Though.
Terrible to insert Michael Gallup.
He went through a lot of struggle to get all the Rams starting running backs. Didn't start one of them. Malcolm Brown, 22 points. If he had Malcolm Brown in and he kept the kicker that he drafted, he would have won this matchup easily.
Is that accurate? So he lost by...
He would have had 8 more points from his kicker, so that puts him to
So he lost by 25. Take Michael Gallup out, who should not be starting. Boston Scott, who should not be starting. All right, I get that he's starting for the Birds, but Birds' offensive line is in turmoil. Okay, I mean, this is, and I'm speaking before they even played the Redskins. I was saying this, was I not? Whoever has Miles Sanders, I said this when we did that their offensive line is in turmoil, and then add in the fact that Lane Johnson was out, so they have like 4 starting linemen out. Their offensive line is trash, not terrible to start him. I mean, like he does all this work.
Horrible.
I would have I don't understand how he didn't even start Cam Akers. Like, how do you not start either one of them? Like, you do the trade to get
I would have understood
Akers.
if he picked wrong between the two.
Yeah, he doesn't start one of them.
After all that effort, he doesn't even start.
I don't get.
I guess he wanted to wait and see who was going to take the lead of the backfield, but I would have threw probably Malcolm Brown in for the first game.
I can't say that I would have done Brown, but I would have
over
done
Michael Gallup, any of them.
No, I'm saying I would have done either Akers or Brown.
Yeah,
I don't know who I would have chosen in that situation.
Yeah.
Ideally, I wouldn't want either one of them. But I would not put Michael Gallup in ahead of them. I would not put in Boston Scott ahead of them. So, all right. So let's say hypothetically, since they have the same points, let's just say he took out Boston Scott.
Yeah.
I like Michael Gallup better than I like. Is it Boston? Is that his name?
No.
Jesus.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh boy. There we go. So that's 23 points. So 18 points. His kicker got 4.
And the other one had 12, so it was 8.
Yeah, he would have won.
No.
Yeah, it would have been 25 exactly. So let's just say he probably could have won. Particularly if his fucking defense didn't get negative points.
We won't even that you can't really account for that. That was, I mean, I wouldn't ever start him against Green Bay with the rivalry there. But overall, they're going to be a good defense. Maybe he didn't want to. He wants to hold on to him for later and couldn't afford any other roster.
I thought he dropped him.
Did he drop him this week?
Yeah, he dropped him. I'm pretty sure he picked up a kicker and a defense this morning.
Yeah, he
He
dropped
picked up
him this
Arizona.
Thursday.
Arizona.
Okay.
Was it playing Washington?
Washington fucking beat the shit out of Philadelphia.
All right, so let's go back to that matchup. All right, so I mean his team. Oh shit!
What are you doing?
Because it keeps going into week 2 all the time.
Okay.
So I think that's enough said about his team.
Yeah.
Suspect.
So you said we only talked about our teams last time, so we just spent a lot of time on time.
I mean, I can do that. David Montgomery, good running back. Matt Nagy will never use him correctly. Won't use him on goal line. Won't use him on first down. He's going to try to give him the ball on 2nd and 9. He's going to get stuffed. You're just going to have to deal with it all year long. Matt Nagy is a fucking terrible head coach and an even worse play caller. He's terrible. I mean, I had to sit through it all last year where they do these little end-around sweeps and they do outside zones from shotgun, and it's like just going to single back, run it up the middle, run it off tackle, let him do something, like doing these little trick plays and these little college running. It's just it's so frustrating. And this is coming from someone who had David Montgomery last year, Jordan Howard 2 years before that, and Tariq Cohen 3 years before that, all under Matt Nagy. It was torture.
Well, he benched Jordan Howard. Yeah.
Jordan Howard's on the
How did
offense
he end
now.
up doing?
You got
One
a touchdown,
rush.
but I mean, he had 8 attempts. Not bueno. Yeah, that's Matt Breida's backfield for sure.
He had a shitty week actually.
Henry
People were
Ruggs.
super down on him.
I don't know. I think he got
hurt
injured,
for a little
didn't
bit,
he?
but he came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brady. Who's his quarterback? Yeah, he's never going to need Brady, so it's a wasted roster spot essentially.
Say he spent a 3rd round pick on Lamar, yet he did not score the most quarterback points this week.
Who did?
Russell Wilson.
If you get another absurd quarterback, because they're talking about how they're finally going to unleash Russell and let him throw. If he's absurd every week, I might just... If you hit gold again with a quarterback who's scoring 40 points a week, it's... luckily your team is...
I think
We'll
it
get
will come
into it.
together.
Dave's
You want to talk
team-
about Dave's team a little bit?
I don't know what I was watching in the New Orleans game, but I thought Kamara did way more absurd than this.
Did Mahomes go before Lamar or after? I think he went
Mahomes was
before.
Thursday night, so...
I'm saying draft wise.
Oh,
Can you
Mahomes
see?
definitely went first.
So,
third,
round.
second pick.
Yeah, but he
and
picked
then
him
he
up at
took
the
him
end of
third
the
at the... Yeah. third, seventh. It's a toss up between those two.
I just don't like his rushing upside enough to take him that early, but you can't
Mahomes?
argue with Mahomes. Like, he lit it up that game, but he only scored 20 points because he was in the pocket all day. But
solid shot.
You can't argue with Mahomes.
I'm surprised that 3 touchdowns, 200 yards, is only 20 points.
Our quarterbacks are. I don't know how it works. Yeah, that's.
I know. I'm not in doubt, but it's just like you see those numbers, you'd be like, holy shit, that's like 30 points, and it's only 20. It's like on the lower spectrum, and he did pretty out of line. But
D-Hop, I like that. That was a nice pick.
He had a ridiculous game. Since he has no touchdowns, it's not doing him justice, but probably the second. I was worried just with the Kyler Murray connection if that was going to work out, but
I honestly went into the draft forgetting that he was on the Cardinals. That was one.
And then I've got Christian Kirk, and we'll get into it, but he got fucking no targets. It's like, dude, spread the wealth a little bit. But I have faith. 16 targets.
They knew the deal.
When we get to Austin's team, remind me to look at how many passes he threw. I bet it's a lot, but that is a good portion of them.
Take note of all these top tier wide receivers, by the way, and how much they scored.
Why?
Because I'm going to compare it in the next one to Adam Thielen and how outrageous he fucking went.
Scary Terry, he'll be fine. How many targets? 7. He'll be fine.
He's the lead receiver on that team for sure.
They got it. I don't know how, but somehow he needs to. They just need time to improve the connection between him and.
They played in college.
Exactly, they played in college. I don't understand it. Like he should be just bombarding Scary Terry with targets.
Yeah.
Like he should be getting 16 targets.
Yeah.
Like he should just be throwing to him every. You think like.
But then Peyton Barber had almost like 20 carries and under 20 yards.
Yeah. So Kamara, I don't know what I was
know the reason why he didn't, because he got
no
the
yards.
last touchdown taken away.
Did he have one taken away? Yeah. Okay, then maybe that's what I was looking at.
They punched it in at the last second.
Because I remember when I was watching Red Zone and I saw it, I was like, Tyler is so fucked. Yeah. And then like I ended up coming back later on, I saw his score and I was like, 18?
That's still pretty good for running back.
Still good, yeah. It's still good.
Yeah.
Philip Lindsay. I've never been a Lindsay fan.
I think he had a force to start him this week based on his roster.
Zach Ertz, so that is definitely a trouble spot.
That enraged me because I wanted him.
Who?
But now, Dallas Goedert.
Goddard?
He
went wild.
Yeah.
I mean, he got
his.
Dave Justice. He got a decent amount of targets. Very low yardage. But Goddard balled out. That was absurd.
I think they'll switch back and forth.
Yeah.
It was the good game.
But, I mean,
and he got bailed out with
it's not a good sign. I mean, when did he take Ertz? Like, I wouldn't want to take a player in the 5th round who is not even the number one. Like, they're, like, essentially, like, it's a tight end by committee type situation. Yeah. Like, he's not going to have full reign on red zone.
How many targets did he have?
7.
So they're looking for him.
Yeah, right? But, like, you take Goddard out of the picture. I mean, I guess they could benefit one another. Who knows? But, that's a very concerning yard total. If he doesn't get that touchdown, he has an absolutely terrible game.
No.
Edelman.
He did it about what I expected, where he took him pretty late in the draft. They ran a shit ton that game, so he's lucky he got anything.
That game was boring. It was all they showed on Red Zone. I was just not feeling it.
Buffalo defense. He's always that's his favorite team, Buffalo. So
Kareem Hunt.
They were down by 1,000
13
points.
Rushing attempts though.
They were completely out of the game and full out pass, hurry up defense, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
All those formations.
4 catches. I mean, that's still 17 touches that are coming away from Kareem.
I thought about it. It was pretty absurd.
If you take out Kareem Hunt and substitute in the backup running back, just Duke Johnson. Yeah. Duke Johnson's probably getting 4 touches, but those other 13 are going right to Chubb.
Yeah.
So this is what I was concerned about.
A lot with game script there, but
I mean, you can't argue.
I think this will be the worst it could be.
Yeah, they need to get something. Their shit together and
I think it only gets better from there. Maybe not a lot better.
I mean, they did play Baltimore.
Yeah.
Their defense is out of line. Their offense is out of line.
Were they in Baltimore as well?
And it was in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, a little slack is needed, but Like Baker's throws, like
some of them.
it's
were
the same
just
thing as
so
last
bad.
year. He's just like super inaccurate.
Wildly like.
I don't
off
understand
on
it.
time.
Like he's got time in the pocket, and he'll just like bomb it over someone's head out of bounds. It's like, what? Marvin Jones.
He's always a good bench
Yeah.
guy.
This is a good handcuff for what's his name? He's got Gore, who's gonna be starting,
Yeah.
and Larry Fitz. Fairly
So
unremarkable.
tired of
Dave's
this
team is
Frank
Dave's.
Goreness.
Dave's got a solid team, I would say.
I
If
know,
Scary
I have
comes
him
into
next
his
week.
own, I think he
have
needs
to play
to.
him this week. It's gonna be.
So what's his like?
tough.
What was his drafting strategy when he went at running back? Was it that he was planning on starting Hunt? Is that what?
I don't think so.
Like who? What was his second running back? I gotta
Maybe,
imagine it was Hunt.
I think he, per draft order, it might have been Philip Lindsay.
But he doesn't even
When
start.
did he take him?
7? I mean, then Melvin Gordon is getting the.
Maybe he didn't realize.
I mean,
it.
Frank Gore will be nice.
Oh.
So, but I think
He's
outside
old.
of that, I mean, Ertz is good.
Who's old?
He is old, but I mean, he's got to. Like I said, if Scary comes into his own, he'll be in a good spot.
Yeah.
He needs to figure out the flex a little bit. It looks like a Kareem Hunt spot, to be honest, but it's like the same as. Oh no, I was looking at. Never mind. So he did have some. I thought he had 1 touchdown, 18 yards for Edelman, but that was Ertz that I was looking at. All right, moving on. Do you want to dive in, or you want to hold off a
Might
little
as
bit?
well. Rip the Band-Aid right off. The only bright part about my team is that I had the highest scoring quarterback in the league. Took him the 3rd quarterback taken in the draft. Maybe even after Deshaun Watson, I can't remember. Well, true shame. Adam Thielen, 25 points. Get the fuck out of here. Other than Devontae Adams, I think he had the 2nd highest wide receiver score. 3rd round. Fuck out of here.
Okay, but it's not egregious.
I
It's
think
not
with
some
Stephon
no-name
Diggs gone,
coming in.
you'd think everyone would lock him down. But 8 targets, that's
I
it.
think
He did that much with 6 catches. Get the fuck out of here. That's just garbage time points because the Packers were beating the shit out of them.
Yeah,
That score
it
looks
is.
closer than it should have been.
I mean, Zeke.
DK Metcalf. I got points for Russell for it, but fucking...
I mean, yeah. I mean, he
Yeah,
kind of
the
fucks up my
double-edged
Tyler
sword
Lockett
when it happens.
business with Metcalf, but
He scored more points than
I like how
almost-
I had Metcalf last year and Tyler Lockett was just going wild. And I was like, oh yeah, not enough targets go around to Metcalf, and I was like, okay. And now it's the reverse, and they're like, oh my god, Metcalf is absurd. And it's like, Jesus Christ. But it's only week 1, so we could get some consistency.
We'll
But
see what happens with Metcalf. That and he
I mean,
scored
it's-
more than
it's
Tyreek
to be
Hill
honest,
and all the
it
other-
almost should have been more out of line because Kittle only getting 5 points is
Yeah.
pretty
It could have been
generous.
even worse.
like
Le'Veon Bell, I expected that.
yeah.
Maybe not IR, but I didn't expect him to get more than 10 points. Kittle, he could have easily went off. if
He is
was
definitely
hurt.
skyrocketed up the power rankings,
Yeah.
but his team does not really.
Cooper
so
Kupp was really
concern me,
good
to be
last year,
honest.
but we'll have to see. It was the Robert Woods show.
Robert Woods is wet.
Yeah.
I mean, his team is definitely good.
Yeah.
As a guy who prioritizes running backs, I look at his team though, and he's in trouble at the running back spot. I mean, he dropped Harris today and picked up.
Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Kerryon Johnson
backfield.
is trash.
Good
I mean,
luck with that backfield.
Gibson could turn into something.
I was fighting for scraps with the Washington backfield for
Yeah.
a little bit, and then I cut my ties with
Yeah,
it. That's
I-
not a
I-
situation I want to monitor.
I couldn't start one of those fucking guys with confidence. Lev Bell. As a
I
Jets
mean, if
fan,
you
I
have
hope
Gibson,
it happens.
that's the
but-
only one worth holding.
Yeah.
Who he has, but
So, I mean, maybe the rest of his team can carry on.
he needs a
with,
little time to come to this season. I think by like week 6, he'll probably be taking a lot of the carry.
What did Yao have to say about him?
I ended up playing
Mike Evans was making ridiculous catches.
Mike Williams.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't show in the stat line, but he had some ridiculous
He's
sideline
always
catches.
been a tease.
Yeah.
Fucking tease.
Yeah. Looking at your team,
I mean, my only thing I took a chance with my draft was putting Zach Moss in, and he did more than almost everyone else I drafted. So.
I mean, I gotta admit, Mark Ingram is a genuine concern. I don't think that you can start him anymore.
No.
Outside of that, your team could explode at any time. I mean, Russell proved that. Tyreek Hill was a pretty quiet game, and he had 10 points.
It was just one of those weeks where not even one of the guys blew up other than Russell.
A.J. Brown, I mean, I like him. I think that he could go crazy. You were talking about benching him already. I think he can go off.
Whipping it to Corey Davis and your tight end.
Chubb will figure it out. I mean, you got to keep in mind that he did have a fumble.
Averaged 6 yards per carry.
Yeah, so they'll figure it out with him.
10 carries.
Hayden Hurst, pretty low, but there is a lot to be spread around in that offense.
It's too early to give up on him.
I like Moss. You have the best kicker in the league, and Philly did kind of fuck you.
That's where that was. I could have had a reasonable week where I would have beat a couple people in the league if I put in Baltimore defense, who I drafted early, but I decided to get fancy.
Wait, you had Baltimore defense and you benched them?
I didn't want to start my starting running back against my defense. I always hate doing that, but obviously I should have done it.
They're like the best defense in the league.
I cut Philly without picking up a player. I never do that, and Baltimore's staying in now.
I had no idea you had Baltimore
really thought
defense.
that Washington was going to be horrible.
I mean, I did
was
too.
A true anomaly that Washington came out and beat the shit out of Philly. It was after the Philly came out and was steamrolling them for like the first quarter and a half. I think they were up like 14-0.
Yeah.
And Philly defense and Baltimore defense had the same amount of points. I was like, all right. I kind of still wish I started Baltimore, but I was like, Philly defense seems like they're going to be good. And then they just rattled off like 4 touchdowns and went all the way down. I was like, fucking cut their asses after that.
They're just so banged up.
Fuck the Birds.
Yeah.
Let's talk about James Robinson a little bit. You were shitting on him all
I don't think I was
long.
shitting. I don't know about that.
You said he was trash.
First off,
he still could be not that good.
I don't think that. I think
that's
he could
all
be.
yards.
First off,
not a touchdown.
Less than 4 yards a carry. Let's get that out in the open right away. So people are raving about him online. 3.9 yards.
Would you say India has a pretty good run defense, though? I'd say for the matchup, that was a pretty good performance.
I'd say so, but I mean, Minshew was also fucking running and gunning. Like that was spreading the defense a little bit. I mean, he got 16 carries, but I think from even with this, me calling him water trash was uncalled for because that is still decent numbers. But people are saying they're like, bell cow, ride him to the title game. It's like, whoa, okay.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's like, all right. I don't know
He's
anything
just a nice
about.
stash
I've just really said he was garbage because I've literally never heard of him.
He was a good player to get for free. He went undrafted.
I can't see the tabs up here, so I would look him up, but I can't.
It's nothing crazy. He went to a small college, and
I think he's a better option than Ingram. To be honest, I would probably insert him in over Ingram.
I was thinking about it.
I would not insert him in over Ingram. Even though he had
the
most running back points, I would not.
We'll see. I
the rest of your team didn't do great. I gave you a little bit of guidance on AJ Green, and I think I came through a little bit.
Not
even
this
though it wasn't.
week. Wasn't
that last
I was somewhat asking your opinion about next week.
Oh. No, I thought we discussed this last week too.
It was like yesterday.
It could have been. My memory is whack these days, but I would not start him this coming week as well.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, 9 targets, 5 receptions. He dropped 2 touchdowns.
He could be absurd.
Well, he didn't
I
drop
just
one
simply
of them.
think
They
your
took
other
away.
receivers are far better.
I'm just saying, 1 touchdown he got taken away because he pushed off, and another one he was wide open, 30 yards in the end zone, and he got overthrown.
I would rather see him go off on your
time,
bench, and then you decide to insert him than guessing that this might be the week.
I might be forced to put him in this week, though.
Why would
AJ Brown
you be forced?
Injured. I'll have to see how that plays out.
I think you're blowing that up a little bit because you just secretly want to bench him because he only got you 30 yards. But I mean, he was limited in practice on a Wednesday. He's 100% playing. Like if he was seriously injured, he would not be playing. if he was relatively injured, he would not be practicing.
That's true.
It's all about the Friday practice, baby. They get that in.
And that'll be
it's
too
go
late
time
for AJ at that point.
Yeah.
AJ Green.
Oh, does he play Thursday?
Thursday.
Yeah. I can't. I think. Why does it? Let me X out of here, please. Yeah, I would not start him. I mean, I guess you can make an argument him over Zach Moss. I always think you should start the running back and the flex if it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Well,
next week we can look at that after. But
yeah, we can look at next week's forecast.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. And I don't even think I had that good of a week. I don't even think my team did that well.
Look at the receiver comparisons compared to the ones I went against. Just so outrageous. Not even one of them over 10 points, and I had to face 40,
they're both
40
garbage
points in
receivers.
receivers.
Allen Robinson, I
Your
have no
receivers
respect for.
yourself.
My receivers
as well.
are dirty. You had a touchdown on each one of their I mean,
I suppose.
I love each guy. This is what I want to see out of
Those
receivers.
ones will develop, yeah.
Like, if they can get these yardages on a consistent basis and you throw in the occasional touchdown here and there, we're smooth sailing, baby. I don't want to see the 10 yards. I don't want to see the 37 yards.
That is always the safest way.
I want to see high yard. I'd almost rather this with no touchdowns than like 40 yards and a touchdown and they get a little bit more points. I would rather this because that tells me that these guys are getting targets. 8 targets.
I was just comparing
8 targets, 8 receptions. Don't know why he doesn't
to
throw
some of the
more.
unfairness I went up against.
I mean, I
would
think,
have lost probably anyway because my team fucked up. But
I
then
think
they added.
you can't complain about Thielen that much. He was in the 3rd round. Like, it's not like this motherfucker threw in, Crowder. I mean,
He's a pretty
Crowder,
good-
17 points. Like, that would be, like, if that happened to you, that would be reasonable to be pretty upset about.
True. I don't know. Yeah, it's a shame for Nate. I'm not sure what he could have done this week.
I mean,
His
he had
quarterback
93.
stabbed him in the back.
Yeah, I
Drew
thought it
Brees.
was because Drew had,
No.
like, touchdowns early, and I was like, oh, boy, this could be trouble.
His wide receivers, they'll be better.
I was never
Not a
concerned with
good
his
week.
receivers. I was very concerned with these two.
No.
He
Those
got
three
one
did very
taken
well.
back. He got one taken back. Does it say it in here? Yeah, so he was stuffed at the goal line once. Or twice. And then they end up throwing it as a touchdown. Then he did get it in, and then they called it back and threw in. So there was 2 touchdowns that really could have been touchdowns. That I would have lost the game. Oh, no, I beat him by 20. I would not have lost.
It was a pretty...
Aaron Jones, whenever I play against Aaron Jones, he fucking scares the shit out of me. I
You
don't want to
remember
ever
the
draft
historic
him.
game he had against me last year when Dan...
Yes, where he
Yeah.
had like 43 points or something like that.
It was outrageous. He had like, I think near 200 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns.
I always that's like one of my top 3 guys that I'm terrified of every time I have to play against him. And of course I have to play against him again, like whatever the second to last week. Yeah. I am terrified of Aaron Jones.
I love Mark Andrews. That was what I missed on.
I mean,
the
he
completely didn't. Well, when did he take him?
Probably early the 4th. Yeah.
4th.
Yeah. But I mean,
I could have had him. Well,
Ronald Jones looked good, actually, to be honest.
yeah.
I mean, he really still had around the 4-yard mark, but I expected him to not look good at all, and he did. So, I mean, again, you had a touchdown to that. That's a pretty fucking good week.
Yeah. He's just gonna contend.
His
with
defense and
Leonard
kicker
Fournette.
fucked him. That's that's always a hidden thing. I mean, only 9 points.
It's annoying that to try to go with that, but
I think Nate will be fine.
his team will come together.
These
He
3.
just needs to tweak it. Well, I guess you can't really bench Drew Brees after 1 week.
I would give it another one, but there's definitely. I mean,
he
he's got.
picked up Big Ben before the game.
3 passing touchdowns.
So he has a backup plan.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why he didn't pick up Cam Newton. I don't know why everyone is giving
I don't
him
know
the
why
blitz that
either.
needed a quarterback.
I wanted him so bad, and it went against. Oh my god! Like I honestly.
And then no one put a waiver on him. He was a free agent
It was
this morning.
unbelievable when I woke up this morning and saw that no one waived him. I was like, oh, like I probably should have just done it because it was I can't. But like this thing, like it really made me have to stick with him.
Yeah.
But if I grabbed him in like the 12th I would have dropped his ass and picked up Newton for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted him so literally the past week and a half I've been being ripped apart internally in my soul to pick up Cam Newton when he was left out on the waiver wire for that long. Even before his game, I was like, this is absurd.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe no one has taken him yet. And then I woke this morning, still no one claimed him.
There was at least 3 or 4 teams that would have improved if they started up.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, was there anything on my team? Or did we?
I liked
it
it.
needs to?
You should have started David Johnson.
I should have.
Gloss over that.
I mean, dude, he had 112 receiving yards. I mean, again,
it wasn't a bad play,
if you put on if someone were to have 112 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns,
you're harping everybody about it. You must put the running back in the flex.
I know, but Will Fuller is a different animal.
And then you're just like, I'm not.
He had multiple 30-point weeks last year. And the thing that did it was they said that Kansas City, I don't know his name, Kansas City's number 1 corner was out. And they said it Saturday, and I was just like, or no, they said it Wednesday or Thursday because this was a Thursday.
I also, since I forgot that D-Hop wasn't on the Texans anymore going into the draft, I probably would have been a little higher on him, knowing he's their wide receiver 1 now.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I can't be that mad about it.
He was trying to bomb it.
I mean, he did the best out of my receivers. I love this right here. 79, 92, 112. I'm completely cool with that. If they don't get touchdowns when they do that, I can live with that.
No.
I'm more than happy with that yardage number. He did me justice, Smith. I mean, a little. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get a touchdown. It is pretty low.
That's just how tight ends are, really.
Yeah.
That's about.
Eckler is probably my most concerning piece, for sure.
What do you think about that other guy? Is he taking a
Joshua
Austin
Kelly
Eckler role?
Yeah, it's like they're like, you know what, Austin Eckler, you're now Melvin Gordon. We're gonna give this other guy. We're gonna make him Austin Eckler. They literally,
week.
But they threw to him once.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't understand why this is so high.
Well, Phillip Rivers, didn't he throw to the running backs and shit bunch?
But you think you would design plays dude, Tyrod, throw to Eckler on this play. Where it's a designed, we're going to do all the route trees, but throw it to fucking Eckler on it. They never looked at him once. Just bombing it to the sideline every time. It's
How did Tyrod do?
Not good.
Not good?
No, not good at all.
Not surprised.
I'll look it up quick. Because I, after watching that game, I have a great disdain for Tyrod Taylor.
9 points.
I mean...
30 attempts, 16.
I mean, he didn't throw any
picks. No interception. It was a clean game. Not good, though.
Not good. I mean, these guys didn't do too great. Chicago defense, I knew was going to suck. I know they have a good week coming up. That's why I kept them. They're up against the Giants. But I'm going to have to make some decisions there. My bench is pretty wet, obviously.
Christian Kirk, the 0 bomb, was he hurt?
No, he literally had 5 targets and 1 catch for no yards. And meanwhile, fucking Hopkins had 16 targets, 14 catches. It's just they're double teaming him. Kirk should be going off, but who the fuck was it? I was gonna say. So I cut Brian Edwards as much as it pained me today because.
Everyone was acting like he was going to blow up.
Yeah.
Then
I still think he's going to do well.
9 yards.
I think he's still going to do well, but...
Yeah, that was just a run-heavy script from the Raiders.
But Godwin is in concussion protocol, so I picked up...
I would say, the
Smitty, whatever his name is now on the franchise. Alright, that's enough for my team. Destroyed Nate. Moving on.
Your beloved Nico. DJ Moore, 5 points, man. Not that good.
AJ Brown, 3 points.
Hey, he's my second receiver. That's his starting receiver.
No, I would say Cooper.
Depending where they took him in the draft.
I bet
pretty sure he
more
took
ahead, but I would still consider I definitely took him ahead. He's definitely 5th. 3rd! Oh yeah, he did reach. That's why I called him Jack Reacher.
So
yeah.
I guess it looked better if he would flip-flop him, but maybe he likes the double D up at the top.
The double D. He got fucking very lucky in this game.
Yeah, that should have been 5 points.
Yeah, he got wildly lucky.
That was some garbage time. Dalvin Cook, obviously going to be good.
Yeah. Kenyon Drake, I like.
He was I guess the Niners, that is good. I was talking shit on him. I won't revoke my DJ Moore shit talk, but I will revoke my Kenyon Drake talk a little bit. He did pretty
Against
decent
Sanford.
against the Niners.
Yeah.
Edmonds also stole a touchdown, though.
Did he really?
He did.
I think here and up for Nico could go wild at any given point. All these guys could go. If they all go off at the same time, I don't see too many people that he's losing to. I mean, I guess you could say that about anyone's. I'm just saying the probability of that happening with these.
I don't know why he
six
threw
is
this
high.
one dude in his flex. So he picked him
Jalen
up.
Reagor, so he's a rookie receiver
starting.
for the Eagles.
Who did he have on his bench before I talk
mean,
shit on this too much?
I like Reagor, but to start him in fantasy, I don't. Oh yeah, I mean, he didn't have many options.
Yeah, Sutton went out, and that's what
Sutton's
screwed him.
out. Coleman doesn't start.
He would have put
Brandon Brooks was banged up.
He probably would have put Sutton in the flex.
I mean, I would maybe say Sanders,
the Colonel.
the Colonel, but I mean, really, he didn't have that great of
He's
a
on
game.
the Saints now.
15.
Sony Michelle, I probably would have put him in actually.
Yeah, against the
because
Dolphins,
the other dudes are all hurt basically.
But again, not that great of. I mean, he had 9 points, but not that great of a game when you look at the nitty gritty. Running for
How did,
less than
Reagor
3 yards a
do?
carry. He had 1 catch for 55 yards, I think. Yeah,
One catch.
And
Very
it
lucky.
happened early, I think. So
Very
like
well.
it probably gave him such false hope.
Yeah.
I think it was early that he got that, and then nothing the rest of the game.
So maybe something will happen with him down the line. Very, very absurd to be whipping him. How much did he lose by though?
Not much.
Okay, I was
9 points.
enough to where if he put any of his guys in over him, it wouldn't have mattered.
All right, so
Yeah.
Steph. Ugh. Her team.
Smith-Schuster, he's
she
looking
was
good.
propped up by a lot of suspicious characters.
Smith-Schuster is looking really good.
He
in the
is,
game.
but I don't
But
see
now it's
him regularly
questionable.
doing this.
I'd say
I
get more
don't.
yards and probably 1 touchdown. But
Propped up
the
big time.
yardage is low, but 2 touchdowns. That could happen frequently. Maybe not frequently, but definitely going to happen more than once
What?
this season that he's going to score
Smith-Schuster.
2
Yeah,
touchdowns.
I mean, I just don't see it regularly happening.
No. That probably happened probably 3 times this season.
New Orleans, 17 points.
Pretty moist. Lucky. He started. Yeah, damn, that was spit in the face to her former quarterback, Tom Brady.
True.
She had no faith that he was going to do well in Tampa Bay. I guess she was. Just saying, a pick 6. Fucking A.
I mean, I like Mixon. He struggled. I mean, he definitely struggled.
The Chargers, I think, were just beating up on the Bengals, kind of.
Yeah.
And they were throwing it with Burrow a lot.
I mean, their line is just trash.
He had a fumble. He would have had a better day if he didn't.
I think I was too optimistic with them. Their offensive line is fucking still pretty bad, despite them getting some people back.
How many carries did he get?
It took like 19.
Not that good a day, then.
I mean, I was
They gave him
watching
the
it.
ball,
I
yeah.
was watching it because I was watching Eckler, and they were just. He was regularly getting stuffed like behind the line of scrimmage or like at the line of scrimmage. I mean, he is a
He's gonna have his games
disgusting
where he's gonna
running
go
back.
off,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if he had a average top 15 at number 15 offensive line, he would be out of line. But their offensive line is just so terrible.
Bottom of the barrel almost.
Yeah, it literally could be the worst. Yeah. So not great for a rookie quarterback as well. So Chark I like. Not really that many receptions, but he came through.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean Singletary, Moss is better. I mean that kind of shows with these
Yeah.
numbers. I think Mixon will turn it around. I think he'll turn it around. I think he'll be at least consistent, but I don't see him putting up 18 points or 19 points a week. Carson Wentz, as much as I want to like him, his offensive line just isn't there. I don't see him being
What'd you think
starting
of,
with confidence.
The Bills running back split?
The Bills? How many carries did Moss get?
They both had an even amount. I think it was
Quick
like
back.
9 from Moss.
9.
9 attempts for 11 yards is pretty bad.
It's very bad.
Very lucky with that touchdown.
He is a rookie, though.
Singletary actually had a pretty good game. He had the yardage.
How many catches?
No.
You would know if it was PPR. 5 catches. Yeah, I don't really like either one of their days, to be honest. But
I did not like
that was a weird game, to be honest.
Did not like the split of their carries.
I don't know what the fuck Josh Allen.
That's one of those rivalries.
I meant to bring that up. Josh Allen, like, he had a good fantasy day. He is a wildly suspicious quarterback. To really sit down and watch him in depth, like every time he took the field, like I was just like, what the fuck is this dude doing sometimes?
Yeah.
And the play calling was like they did this one play. Did you watch it where he fumbled?
Yeah.
They did this fake end around. It was like, what? They were in the red zone. I want to say it was first down. And they did this play where they did a fake end around. And then Josh Allen does an outside like zone run.
And
he just gets leveled. Like, and he does like a fucking somersault and fumbles. I was like, what the fuck is this? What? Why are you calling that play? And why are you putting yourself in position to get fucking level tabletopped like that and fumble? I was like, and then he fumbled another time, and he's wildly inaccurate. But his rushing yard game is
crazy
absurd.
with the rushing.
So I'll happily continue starting him. But in terms of a real life quarterback, suspect.
Good old Smokey John Brown doing what he does.
Smokey John Brown.
He actually had a lot of
a good game.
Huh?
He had a good game. Hollywood Brown, 100 yards. We didn't talk about him.
It was a good game.
Very, very solid game. Hunter Henry, very solid game.
Good to see for sure from Marquise.
I'll give credit. We didn't touch on these two, but very, very solid, despite relatively low numbers. Hawkinson. Yeah.
The Hawk.
Tannehill.
He's not bad. He had a pretty good game, the Hawk.
How many catches?
See, when she drafted the two, I said she should start Ryan Tannehill, but it'll be interesting to watch.
That's tough. I think Cam Newton's better than both of them.
I
mean, I don't understand why she doesn't have Cam. It's literally in her name. I don't know why she doesn't have Cam Newton, and why she. I truly think that he's better than both of these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So.
I hate to say it, but I don't know why she wouldn't have dropped one of them at least. Yeah. Whatever one she drafted second, which was probably Tannehill.
TJ Buckets.
Say week one's an interesting thing with the hype. You would think it would destroy Washington. Maybe she took the matchups into effect.
Yeah,
but
true.
It didn't. What is this? TJ and Rizzo?
Yeah. This was a good matchup.
This
is a
one went down
nail
the
biter.
goddamn wire, yeah.
I think my statement holds true when evaluating these teams. Best wide receiver tandem by far in our league.
Yeah.
By far. It's absurd, these two.
And that wide receiver tandem only scored 2 more points than Austin.
I don't know what it is with Julio Jones. Why does he not score touchdowns? Like, I don't get it. Like,
He's
this
like
motherfucker does not score touchdowns.
They probably just lock him down in the red zone because they know it's the first look.
But you can say that about a lot of receivers.
Yeah.
I mean,
they have so many options too, and they still choose to shut Julio down.
Then Calvin Ridley went off as a result. Probably.
They have a third guy that went off too. He's on the top of the waiver wire, that Russell Gage guy. But I think that again has to do with Matt Ryan throwing 54 times. I've always liked Matt Ryan as a.
Dan was shitting on his soul.
When did he take him?
Let's see.
6. Very reasonable.
I like Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the sixth round is a little high. He probably took him right where he was. He probably was going in the 6th round.
Yeah, he was probably right on point.
Yeah, I wonder if TJ just saw him and liked him and grabbed him. I doubt he reached on him, but I think he's a very consistent quarterback. Like, very consistent fantasy quarterback. Yeah. He's always going to have these ridiculous yard numbers. Robert Woods, I was a big fan of when I wanted him bad, but I just didn't line up. He's doing work. Tyler Boyd, I like. TJ was shitting on me because I told TJ to draft him, and TJ was shitting on me because he didn't have a single catch through like 3 quarters.
They peppered AJ Green, dog.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was like. I mean, Tyler Boyd's had 2 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
AJ Green nearly doubled Boyd.
I think he'll bounce back though. I mean,
That's one of the ones that can just explode.
Yeah.
Whenever,
Henry, I mean, pretty fucking good day for considering that he had no touchdowns.
Yeah.
Chris Carson.
He has a very filthy running back combo.
I mean, I really wanted Chris Carson. He didn't have that great of a day.
That's what I thought I was creating with Chubb and Ingram, kind of. But if they got the carries, I think they could be. But
yeah. Yeah.
I
see what you mean, but
the power back combo. But
I mean, I didn't like Ingram when he took him, but I can't believe that he got. If I had him instead of Eckler, and I think Eckler would turn it around, but my team would be out of line if I had Chris Carson, and there's no reason why I should not have had Chris Carson outside of some TJ nonsense. Because literally, I screwed up myself. Before the draft, I threw on an ESPN like 30 minutes, like an hour before the draft. I was like, and we weren't doing anything. It was me, TJ, and Dan. We were in the living room, and I was like, I'll throw on like some ESPN fantasy primer. We can just watch it for the next 45 minutes. And they're like immediately delve into this sleepers section, and the first player was Chris Carson, and they were just going off on him. I was like, motherfucker, this is putting it in their head, this little subliminal messaging shit. And he reached so far to get him. Like, he drafted him, in the second? And he was
it's not
going
a sleeper if you reach and take him there, TJ. But
yeah. Like, he was projected to go mid-third, late-third. He drafted him a whole round ahead. I was so... Dan saved me from James
The
Conner.
league made a couple of good reaches that turned out, like Jeremy with Josh Jacobs.
So, yeah.
And now Chris Carson.
Yeah.
The Jared Cook one, whatever, when he took him.
I mean, he's literally his worst player.
When did he take him?
Took him in like the 4th. Doesn't even make sense. I don't even understand how his team's good considering this massive error, but it is.
I'm pretty sure Mark Andrews might have still been on the board.
These guys are gonna Robert Woods.
If you had Mark Andrews, his team would be outrageous.
I know.
I'm pretty sure he's on the board.
He should have got.
Let's make sure.
Let's verify that because if he took him over Mark Andrews,
44.
I'm going to talk some wild shit. Who has Mark Andrews?
Nate. Down left.
Okay.
Oh, he's lucky.
Okay. So let's hope that he would have taken Mark Andrews if he was there.
So Nate fucked him.
But like these guys, like him taking him really is mitigated because he got some solid steals at receiver. Like Robert Woods in the 5th, like that was a solid ass fucking pickup. That really helped prop this up a little bit and make it not as bad as it is. Tyler Boyd didn't have a great week, but I think that he'll end up coming through for him. Got him in the 7th, Like, so 5th and the 7th, like, typically these wouldn't be that great of people. I think they're both pretty fucking solid.
Yeah, the bench, Mike Evans.
And he's got Mike Evans. And holy shit, I forgot he's got Mike Evans.
He's hurt.
When do you get him? The 2nd?
That'll probably help his team out once he...
Wait, so 1, 2,
You'll
3,
take Boyd out
4,
and put Mike
5,
Evans in.
6. Okay, all right. I think TJ had a very good draft. Very good draft. Outside of this...
No.
Maybe another time, so we don't dive into it. We can look to see who he should have taken around this time.
No.
And see how outrageous his team could have been.
We'll go into the whole 4th
But
round.
one footnote before we look at Rizzo's team is, like, 10 minutes before the draft, me and him were looking at his team, and we were talking about his flex, and I was like, I would put in Robbie Anderson. I was like, I do not like Tariq Cohen. And he was like, nope. He's like, if it comes down to that time, if he comes down to that time, I'm gonna go with Tariq. And he kind of did pull out the always start the running back card a bit, but I was like, I do not like Tariq.
Well, once Montgomery was starting, that makes Cohen unplayable, so he really shouldn't have started.
I was like, I would put in Dobbins or Anderson before I put in Tariq. I was like, I'll leave it up to you, but
I thought Montgomery was sitting this week, and then that would have been a good play, but
I actually did too, to be honest. If I knew Montgomery was playing, I would say that this would have been a terrible idea, but I didn't realize either.
Literally anyone on this
So I
bench
didn't
would
push
have
it
been
too hard. I was like, do what
crazy.
you want, TJ. But then we were watching it and we saw this. And
Yeah.
Robbie
That
Anderson
could
is
be a
wet.
sleeper pick there. He's always been good.
I wonder if he has him
The
inserted
Jets
in
are
his lineup.
screwing him over.
But I would definitely put him in the. I would either Dobbins or
I guess we'll see what happens with Mike
TJ's
Evans,
team
too.
could be completely out of line at some point.
So can we talk about Dobbins a little bit? I think he's a little overrated. 7 carries, 22 yards. He didn't do anything crazy. He just got the delicious goal line carries. That's fucking bullshit. Despite beating the shit out of the Cleveland Browns, they could not get anything going with their running backs. Mark Ingram, 10 carries, 29 yards. That's what he had.
I don't know.
And then they
I
gave Gus
think
Edwards a couple carries, too.
I think Dobbins is the play though.
We'll see. I just don't understand how they... Maybe because they were beating the shit out of the Browns, maybe they put him in to get him some reps.
Yeah.
That could possibly be it, but I think he scored his first one early.
But you have to keep in mind that if they just completely abandon Mark Ingram, I mean, he is a huge locker room favorite in Baltimore.
That's what I don't know why
I think that there could be a little bit of some discord if they just completely abandon him and move to Dobbins.
If they just do big trusts like that.
Yeah.
I think everyone saw it as a Ingram-Kamara style split, but
yeah.
overall, none of them got any rushing things. Say had Mark Ingram got a touchdown with his yardage, he would have been average, a good RB.
But in terms of, in respect to TJ though, I think Dobbins is the move in the flex. Dobbins Anderson, I'd have to see another week. I think he's a little volatile. He could just have a shit week.
Yeah.
I'd have to see multiple weeks of him going absurd to really say that he's a...
The Raiders, I think a lot of people are going to go wild on the Raiders.
Who's he got? I mean, he's got Tampa Bay. He could be in line in Tampa Bay.
They've never been able to stop passes.
All right, let's move on to the filthy auto drafter.
Dak Prescott, I passed on him purposely. He was rated higher than Russell Wilson on the board.
I was, to be honest, high on Dak as well, but
I was just like, there's no way I'd take Dak over Russell. I think
I would have probably taken if it lined up to where I could be either or. I probably would have gone Russell, but I'm not gonna lie that I definitely did want Dak. I'm happy I didn't get him, at least right now, but I don't know what's up with him.
Devontae Adams, he fucked me taking him in the auto draft. Maybe he would have taken him if he was actually drafting. He was the best player on the board. But I feel like he might have went with Tyreek Hill over him.
I just don't like Devontae Adams. There's just something about him that just I've never... And he's out. It's one of those ones that's like, it's not reasonable for me to feel that way. I don't have the heart to take him in the first round.
I would have taken him if auto draft Rizzo didn't fuck me over.
Yeah.
But Danny would have scored me 30 points. Fucking absurd.
Would you have won?
No.
No, you would have just gotten pillaged.
Would have looked a lot better.
Yeah. Julio Jones, absurd. Pretty straightforward. Melvin Gordon. He actually...
Without the fumble.
When I went to bed, he had like 29 yards and a fumble. I was like, whatever with Melvin. And he actually came back. He got a touchdown. He got 50 yards. Pretty solid game.
He had to play a lot of his games last season.
Oh, he's at the Steelers next week. Yeah.
But Philip Lindsay's out. They'll be hogging it to him finally.
DeAndre Swift.
That was so lucky. I thought
Did
he
you
was
see
going to
that
not
touchdown?
play, and then what did he get?
Or not. So, against the Bears.
Maybe I didn't see it.
The Bears, so the Bears were down. It was 23-20. Bears went down and scored, if I'm remembering this correctly. And then there was like a minute 30 left. TJ's hyped. Okay, so the Bears are winning. So you got to think, TJ is a Bears fan. Okay, the Lions start driving. Time's ticking away. There's like 30 seconds left in the game. They're on the 20-yard line, the Bears. They throw this pass to Swift, who's in the end zone. He is wide open. It would have been a game winner. The Bears would have lost, so TJ would have been pissed about that. it would have been another 8 to 9 points that DeAndre Swift would have gotten. It may have cost TJ the win. It would have cost TJ the win if that happened. Yeah. And it hit his hands and it just fell out. It was unbelievable. He was wide open. Game winner. Like it literally was just like, and it dropped right in his hands and it just like fell through. It was unbelievable. I can't pull it up on here
as a rookie,
but after this I'll show you. It was like we literally were just all in the room, just like, because it would have been the class. It would have been a great double, not a great, but it would have been a classic double whammy. If the Bears lose and TJ loses in fantasy as a result of it, but it didn't happen. I don't even think he's really that good, but he did have a.
Could be very well the Adrian Peterson show there with a couple of weeks. We could hope. I think he dropped an end zone grab at one point, and then they went to Slayton right after.
Yeah.
Could have changed the game as well.
Could have.
Ingram, Odell Beckham, the old Giants.
Yeah.
That's just that's just part of what happened with Chubb and the pure beat
Where
down.
did he take him? Third?
Yeah, they peppered him with targets too.
I know. A lot of it was just I don't even think it's his fault. Baker's just terrible.
Yeah. Part of it's the Ravens as well. Probably beating the
Bears. Yeah, I mean, there was a couple. I didn't watch the whole game or really majority of it, but I saw a couple where Beckham was just wide open and he just missed the throw. Like deep throws. Just missed them. It's like I don't know how you're supposed to make Odell Beckham work if you can't hit deep throws.
He probably wishes he was playing with dimes still.
Motherfucker will catch anything if you just throw it in his
general
vicinity.
How long is his contract? I could see him going back to the Giants. I think they signed him forever though.
Yeah, but there's always rumors sneaking out that they're looking to trade him. And I'm sure they are. His contract's probably just too big. Let's look at his bench. He's got Goddard, 100 yards, 9 targets, 8 catches, 100 yards. Like,
could be a steal. The Eagles are mad at Ertz too, or vice versa. They're mad at each other.
Yeah, they stopped talking. The contract talks broke off.
And then he was talking about his contract in the middle of a press conference.
I mean, they're pretty good at drafting tight ends. I would probably let Ertz walk and go with Goddard and draft another one.
That's why he's upset, because he can see the writing on the wall.
Because who did they get that one year? They drafted the one guy who was pretty wet in the Super Bowl. Then he went to the Bears and sucked. What's his name?
Wait, who?
Type that in quick on that computer.
Was he
pissing me off? He was on the Birds. The Birds drafted him. He was the backup tight end behind Zach Ertz. He was pretty dirty in the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. Then the Bears signed him to a huge contract. He got hurt the whole year, and then they just cut him. And I don't know what he's doing.
I know they used to have a good tight end, Brent Selleck.
He's pretty good. That's not who I was talking about, though.
Was he the starter? Yeah, he was another one.
Brent Selleck was still pretty good. But he's long gone now. Trey Burton. You don't remember Trey Burton?
I do.
Maybe it's just because
he's a little younger. I thought you were talking old school.
No. I'm talking recent. He was caught like last year or something.
Yeah.
I would imagine he's on a team.
Yeah. I think he's on the Colts.
Yeah, he's on the Colts. Yeah. I should have just looked it up here, but I didn't. Never mind. I didn't know his name, but that's what I would do if I would not sign him to a huge deal. Probably just keep Goddard and try to draft a highly rated tight end in like this 3rd or 4th, but let's get into the weeds of it. Tony Pollard, piece of shit for holding on to him. I was gonna go on. I had this whole tangent prepped about handcuffs. I'll save it for next week. But moves like this piss me the fuck off. I don't know why. It's probably pretty irrational, but I do not like it.
I feel like I would want to have a player that I could potentially start there over.
I just think.
Or your own handcuff, possibly.
I just don't like this whole, like, I'm going to take this guy who isn't a viable fantasy option. Like, I can't do anything with him. The only reason why I have him is in hopes that the guy who's starting ahead of him fucking has a violent goddamn injury and doesn't play anymore. And it's just like, that just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like that. And I also don't like the fact that in terms of the fantasy realm, it's sheer luck.
No.
Like, it's sheer luck. If Ezekiel tears his ACL now, Rizzo has like an absurd running back.
But there's only some handcuffs that are viable. Like if you were to pick up some, they just change it. Like when Leonard Fournette got dropped from the Jaguars, no one knew who it was going to be. And then like a week later, they just were like, actually, this guy that no one has on their team at all that I ended up signing. But
the top 10 running backs.
It's like Pollard's absolutely starting if Zeke goes down.
If Zeke goes down, Pollard is
and he's gonna be
a league winner.
Yep.
I mean, because he probably drafted him late, like probably like the 13th round, 12th round.
Yeah.
Like he just inserts him over Swift. And his team's completely out of line. He's got two. I mean, literally, his team's absurd.
I don't think you'd exactly copy Zeke's numbers, but he's gonna be.
Pollard's pretty wet.
Probably 15 points every week.
Madison, same thing. Who are some other classic guys? Latavius Murray, but Dave has him, so he has a true handcuff. But I don't like that at all.
The offense actually becomes better.
And then on the flip side, who's got Zeke? Austin will be completely fucked.
Yeah.
And really out of just a shitty, lucky situation because he didn't burn a roster spot on some handcuff because he actually wanted to have fun and have people on his bench that he could insert in and not just have reserve spots. I hate that whole game with handcuffs for running backs, but...
And then you go and you do it yourself right before the Steelers game.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta play if it's a part of the game, you gotta do it. But
he went and he picked up James Conner's handcuff, Benny Snell, right before the game started. It was a good move while he was free. Looking back, very suave fantasy move. He didn't have to fight the waiver wire for him. I mean, obviously you don't know who's gonna go down, but James Conner. Pretty good percentage.
I was honestly pretty. So when Matt got injured, they announced it like Monday, and I was just like, well, I gotta cut him. And I was looking, I was like, Benny Snell is fucking on free agency. I would have for sure thought that someone was playing that little handcuff game.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of playing it now.
But
I was like, really?
Times, yeah.
And I was like, well, he did kind of have a shitty year last year, but I mean, James Conner gets hurt all the time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whatever, I'll pick. I've got no one. It was between him or. Ebron. Yeah, because I'm not fucking picking up Ebron.
Did I pick him up before you did that, or no?
No. I can double check. I'm pretty sure I was sitting on the toilet and I was doing some deep pondering about Ebron.
I forget you set it off.
Yeah, so I had Benny Snell, and then literally like 15 minutes later you picked up Ebron. Yeah. I was just like, I think Ebron would probably be a more useful pick, but I was like, I don't really like him at all. I don't really need another.
I saw that and I was like, that actually is smart to snag him. No, I thought he might. Every report for Ebron said he was going to get a shit ton of red zone targets. He didn't even play like the last end of the game. Maybe they were keeping him on ice because the Steelers were starting to become well ahead. But
he's not even on here.
Yeah.
This is week 2. Did you drop him?
No, I have him still. You're on the wrong team.
Oh shit. For some reason, I saw that picture and I thought that was your team. Why?
Yeah,
yeah, that's not great.
He did look good on that one catch, though. He burnt people like toast.
Well, we did not get into 2K at all. We did some wild fantasy combos. I guess for the last little bit, want to take a look at each of our teams for the upcoming week.
Might as well take a look.
Start with your team. You got Dave.
It's as close as the projections could be.
Yeah, Chubb, Ingram, Robinson. You've been toying with your lineup because I looked at one point and you had, I think, Robinson at the RB2.
I was thinking about putting AJ in at the flex because Cleveland's all torn up defensively, but I decided not to play games.
You're not interested in Moss at Miami?
I didn't like the way that rotation split when I watched it. If he didn't score that touchdown, it would have been a Mr. 1 point game. I had to see a little bit more action from Gigundus Thigh.
I mean, I think it's probably the best idea to keep these two in.
Big trust for one more game.
Big trust. I mean, I say one more game. I don't think you should ever bench A.J. Brown, but at the very least, keep him in for this week. Unless he's injured. But I think he's going to be just fine. Big trust. This is a good pickup. Sammy Watkins. I'm surprised no one was... People were probably a little salty about his past, but I mean, if you're just looking at it objectively, he had an outrageous week. I mean, 9 targets.
I have Tyreek Hill if he gets injured, which is very likely.
Yeah.
Well, just plug him in, handcuffing the receiver, but I had an open spot. He'll probably be on the cutting bench if I see anyone I have to have, but right now, doesn't hurt to hold on to Watkins so he doesn't fall into someone else's hands.
This will be a very interesting matchup.
It's as close as it can be.
Yeah.
He's honestly, if Lindsey doesn't end up playing, well, he might not have even looked at it yet. He'll probably put Frank Gore in because he's starting. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't trust him. He could put Kareem Hunt in too. So I guess we'll have to see where he goes with his second running back.
Yeah. I'm trying. I mean, I like your team, but Dave's is pretty
His team
good.
is good. Yeah.
I mean, this is his only
I looked
weak
at.
spot.
I could very well lose it easily.
Yeah, I mean, he
so.
really should be putting in Kareem Hunt.
Unless Nick Chubb finally goes off.
Yeah.
I think Nick Chubb's week is this week after last week.
Yeah, I think that they got to get the running game started if they're going to get Baker going. I mean, they got to do something. Thursday night short week though. They can't really do too many changes. Who do they have week 3? Washington. Ooh, their front seven's pretty wet.
So
They
I guess
fucked
we
up
can
the
only
birds.
wait and see what happens.
Let's look
And
at.
pray to the fantasy god.
I mean, as you know, I look at Nico's teams very highly, so we'll see what happens. I very well could lose.
There is great parity amongst the teams this year. No one really has a shitty team other than Tyler. Oh, come on.
I mean, let's
even
be
his
honest,
team with the proper
my
moves
team's.
would've done
I
well.
haven't seen too many people ranked in above 110 in quite some time.
Who are the Bears playing? That's a little generous. Danny Dimes is going to go off this week.
What? Oh, the Bears. Yeah, it's possible.
But yeah, it's tough to say.
Yeah,
Tough to say.
I very well could lose. I
He
like
has the
this team.
Colonel in the flex now.
He does have the Colonel. Yeah.
Maybe you'll get a little taste of what it's like to see him go off when he should never go off.
And let's just take a look at this one sitting out. He's in trouble. He is in trouble this week.
It's a trap game
I mean,
now
we'll
after
see.
how he came out.
I mean, he's in a bit of trouble because I think Nate's team could go wild. So we'll see. I mean, Denver against. I mean, he's got to do something with his defense. Good luck if you're planning on starting this.
Mike Williams in the flex. I guess
You
you could see it in a way.
I mean, his team's.
It's gonna
he's
maybe be a
benching
shootout.
Metcalf, which is interesting.
Yeah, after he just did what he did, and
I mean-
obviously getting target.
Yeah.
I don't see how he's gonna be against Stephon Gilmore. It's is Lockett a slot receiver?
Yeah.
was out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he's in the slot a lot.
So he's benching him in fear of Stephon.
I mean, you got to start your studs.
Yeah,
You got to have faith.
I
in
can still
Metcalf.
see him breaking free for a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have some faith that he's gonna come through for you. So this is a very, very interesting that what he's doing. I mean, he took some injuries. I mean, Lev Bell out, Damian Harris he dropped.
Kittle could very well not play this week. They're saying he probably might. Or
He did not
He
practice
did not,
Wednesday.
yeah.
That's concerning.
yeah.
If he doesn't practice Friday, there's a very, very little chance that they end up playing if they don't practice
Yeah.
Friday.
So he'll have to. Does he have a spare tight end?
No,
So
so
he
he's
might
gonna
have to drop somebody.
He's
for
gonna have to
tight
go
end?
searching. Who's he gonna drop?
Probably
Carry on.
Lazard.
No.
You think he would drop Carry On?
Yeah, dude, he is
He
shit.
could very easily take over.
Carry on Johnson.
He had a good year just last year or the year before.
Fuck Carry on
Before he
Johnson.
got hurt in the very last end. Steph's team was lighting it up with him and
I think DeAndre Swift is
CMC.
better than him, and Adrian Peterson is the model of consistency.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get if you give Adrian Peterson carries, you know what you're gonna get out of him. So, I don't see Adrian Peterson ever going away. So he's always gonna
after
get
he
carries.
blew up that first
Yeah,
game.
like he's. I mean,
they
he's
signed him.
He's turning into a Frank Gore type character.
Yeah.
Where I mean, he's gonna get yards if you give him. He's probably not gonna go wild, but he'll do what he needs to.
All we can say is hope for an injury. Scumbag!
So this will be interesting to watch. I mean, I just shit on
That
this.
might be the matchup of the week.
Yeah,
probably
I will
after
be watching
last
this one
week.
with great interest.
Let's see all the matchups real quick.
40 times.
So I can say the true match. Nate and Tyler, or Dan and Tyler, the worst team upsetting after that. I could see it happening.
Yeah, I mean,
If this one is in the game of the week, that one probably is.
this will be interesting. This
Yeah.
will definitely be interesting.
You and Nico's good. It's a good week.
Wham Bam versus TJ.
You and Nico,
And
me and
then-
Dave.
And then the fucking garbage bowl.
No.
Jeremy and Rizzo. The Owens.
I'm probably gonna be Owen after this week. Hopefully not. I'm gonna have to see some more things from my team.
I suspect that my Owen prophecy with Jeremy will hold true after this week. All right, I think that's a good place to call it. We just talked for a while about fantasy.
2 hours of fantasy.
Yep. Dave's up next. We're out.